have this JD Vance clip. I'm not sure if we have it loaded, but I would really love to get your reaction to it because you've broken a ton of news on our program, Congressman, talking about Ilhan Omar. And JD Vance, sort of like, frankly, off the cuff, was talking about fraud. And he just like drops a bombshell on me and on our program just a few short days ago in the White House. And he says, no, you don't understand. Like, we have the documents that prove that Ilhan Omar committed immigration fraud. Stephen Miller has those documents. He's over the DHS portfolio, so he would know and have access to all of it, classified or otherwise. And so she did commit immigration fraud, and we're now looking at remedies for that. Talk about Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz. And obviously, Ilhan Omar, the president and the White House have been out saying that she married her brother, that there is immigration fraud going on here. These are deportable denaturalization offenses. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, so we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America. And I talked to Stephen Miller about this actually recently. We're trying to look at what the remedies are. That's the thing that we're trying to figure out is what are the legal remedies now that we know that she's committed immigration fraud? How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually do the thing? How do you build the case necessary to get some justice for the American people? There's a related issue, Benny, which is she has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community. So do I know that Ilhan Omar was aware that the Quality Leering Center was defrauding the American people? I'm not certain of it, but we at least need to investigate it, because if people can commit wrongdoing without even the fear that they're going to be found out, that's a fundamental problem. So I'm worried about the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community, and why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along.
You've been pretty strong and full-throated about what you believe Ilhan Omar has done and engaged in the House from an ethical standpoint. You know, what do you think should happen to Ilhan Omar given these revelations from the White House?
Well, if the evidence shows that she committed fraud to become a citizen of our country, she should be deported and charged with a crime. It's pretty basic stuff. I don't know why this hasn't been sent to the DOJ. I would imagine she's not the only one in Minneapolis that have committed immigration fraud to get citizenship in our country. And anybody that has committed an immigration fraud to become a citizen of our country should be charged with a crime and then deported. It's pretty simple. I don't know if there's a statute of limitations on those type of crimes, but there shouldn't be. And if there is, that's something that I would love to look into and try to pass a bill in Congress that has no statute of limitations. Because if you committed fraud to become a citizen of our country or to get a visa to come into our country, then you should be held accountable for that and be deported. So hopefully they're going to, whatever information they have, they send that to the DOJ, and AG Bondi is going to take some action on it, because the American people are sick and tired of being taken advantage of. They're sick and tired of the fraud that is rampant, not just in immigration fraud, but you're seeing it with all of this social welfare programming in Minneapolis. You're seeing it in California as it relates to all these different social welfare programs that we are footing the bill for, that are going to people that don't deserve it, that aren't even here legally into our country. So I hope that the DOJ takes whatever evidence it is and moves forward with it.
What about Congress? I know that there are ethics investigations into Ilhan Omar, fake wineries, $30 million, quite egregious, frankly. Her feeding the future programs, right, that she runs. What is there anything that Congress can do? I'm well aware that Congress doesn't arrest people; they can only refer people to DOJ. But is Congress policing itself here?
Well, we can. We have an ethics committee that's supposed to be doing that. And after 2 years of investigation, and Sheila McCormick's that has been indicted on 15 counts of stealing $5 million in FEMA money. Finally, we're at the point where hopefully the ethics committee is going to meet when we get back, because they had their trial. They found her guilty of 25 of the 27 ethics violations: fraud, embezzlement, stealing $5 million, campaign fraud, all these different things. And as soon as the committee comes up with a recommendation, which I hope is expulsion, you shouldn't have a member of Congress stealing $5 million of taxpayer dollars and then laundering it to their campaign to using campaign purposes. I'm going to file a motion, privilege motion in the floor to expel her as a member of Congress. So there's the ethics committee that can investigate these things. But as it relates to Ilhan Omar, some of the stuff that she's doing is actually legal and ethical. I filed a bill when I first came into Congress that would prohibit and make it illegal for a member of Congress to pay their spouse through their campaign. It's 100% legal. She's paid her husband like $3 to $5 million out of her campaign account for consulting services to his consulting company. That should be absolutely illegal. It's corrupt. It's self-dealing, but it's legal and it's ethical. And I filed a bill to do away with it, and I couldn't even get a committee hearing on it. So it's crazy the things that you legally and ethically can get away with. And then there's the things that you're not supposed to be doing that are illegal, like this $5 million that this congresswoman from Florida has stolen from the taxpayers, that hopefully that finally after 2 years of an investigation, there's going to be some accountability for that when we get back in a couple of weeks, because as soon as they render some type of judgment, I've already filed my motion for expulsion, but I'll call it up for a vote after they do their job.
And is that a clear majority vote? How does that work?
No, to expel is 2/3. So the Democrats are going to have to make a very what's great is even if the Democrats don't vote to expel one of their own members, that'll be a great campaign issue for us in some of these tough districts. So you voted to not kick out a member of Congress who has been found guilty of laundering $5 million in FEMA fraud. So that'll be a really tough vote for them. And quite frankly, if we're not able to expel a member of Congress for stealing $5 million of taxpayer dollars, then what's the point of having an ethics committee? Well, we shouldn't even have an ethics committee. It's completely and utterly pointless if we can't police our own.
Bro, what's the point of having Congress? I mean, everyone already thinks Congress is a bunch of thieves. It's like, everybody already sees Ilhan Omar's fake winery and $30 million valuation going there dead broke, as an impoverished Somali refugee. And it's like, oh, okay. You can track the portfolios, right? Like, it's so bad. It's such a black eye for Congress itself. If you guys aren't able to kick her ass out. Her name is Sheila McCormick. She is a congresswoman from Florida. She's still a member of Congress.
Still a member of Congress.
Voting.
She's been indicted on 15 felonies. Like if she's found guilty on those 15 felonies, she'll go to prison for 57 years or 55 years or some crazy number.